Hey guys, Snobby Bobby here. Just wanted to toss you a little bonus episode. I'm about to go out of town for about 10 days, and we want to make sure this pace continues. So here's a little treat that got cut from our last episode, because our last episode was almost a full 2 hours long. But apparently, the great Goldie Hawn, wife of the great Kurt Russell, is recently in the news claiming that she'd been not touched by an angel, touched by an alien back in the late 60s, early 70s. I don't know. You're going to have to go and listen to it. And we might have an expert witness drop by. So here's a little bonus segment. And we'll see you guys on the Christmas season on the other side of Thanksgiving. Thanks for listening.
So let's do the thing, Bob. We haven't done it forever. I mean, listen, I being such a guy that's up on the times and the news of the world came across an article that I think you might have seen. I think you might have heard about this.
Yeah, I saw it pretty much everywhere, and I like it how it checks so many boxes. One, It's kind of a Halloween themed thing. It's full of high strangeness. We haven't done the news in forever. And lastly, it has a pretty solid Kurt Russell connection. The best article I found, because it is everywhere, if you don't know already, Goldie Hawn came out recently, and she's basically saying that she's been touched by an alien on the face. I like this article from IndieTV.com. I believe it's from India. And if there's anything I know about Indian journalism, it's never bias unless they're talking about the Pakis.
Yep. Other than that, it's all legit and on the fucking level.
It's journalistic integrity and hatred for Pakistan. That's all Indian journalism is.
It's all it's known for. It's what I know it for.
Goldie Hawn recalls alien encounter. They touched my face.
Goldie Hawn encountered the extraterrestrial when she was working as a dancer in West California. Yeah, you know what, Bobby? You're right. I feel like we're missing something. For something like this, for an article such as this, I know on Halloween, nonetheless, I feel that you and I are going to have very strong opinions, but I feel that there is an opinion out there that would supersede our own.
Now he taught us how to do this last time we saw him off the air. You want to try the astral projection to summon in one? You know what we're talking about.
Let's see if we can summon with our deep philosophical connection, using our astral skills out into the astral plane. Let's see if we can seek the attention and bring it in of one Mr. Deep State Rex. Okay, concentrate with me, Bobby.
We have to do almost. He said, you got to pretend like you're going into labor, is what he told me. So you got to go.
I did eat a bunch of fucking enchiladas today.
I need some ice chips.
I feel like Rex is coming out of me right now.
You got to take one last big deep breath.
Reach for the light, reach for the light.
It works. Holy shit, I got to wipe.
I was going to say, let me get a towel real quick. Rex, I got to ask you, that trick does work, but what does it feel like on your end of things whenever we're summoning you via astral projection? It's weird up here in the cosmos, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see me in the cosmos, but I'm in look, a shooting star and a UFO just went by.
Yeah, I feel like I'm covered in like some sort of spiritual placenta.
That did just come out of me, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, we've all celestially rolled around in each other's spiritual placenta to be here tonight on the Not For Everyone podcast. We got me, Crude Rude Dude, and now Deep State Rex has arrived. Does it just kind of like, do you just kind of feel like a tingling in the back of your neck whenever we do that, and then it just kind of sucks you up into the cosmos? Just describe to me how that works when you're receiving a call on the astral projection line.
Yeah, my back teeth are still kind of buzzing.
Yeah, it's like a pressure that starts from the crown of my head to the very soles of my feet. It's like going through a canal of sorts.
Like a chakra, like your full body chakra is summoning.
Full body chakra.
So I guess I don't even know if we need to tell you why we're calling. I'm sure you already have jumped to the conclusion. One Goldie Hawn, a.k.a. Kurt Russell's beautiful wife, has recently been a buzz in the media lately about having admitted to, encountering an alien, and even claims
aliens.
that made skin contact with it on her face.
Hey, how about this? Since we haven't done the news in so long, is it okay, Rex? Can I read like the first paragraph in my news voice? I miss doing the news. Is that okay, gentlemen?
Go ahead. I knew we were going to touch this story eventually, so.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And listen, when I was summoning you out of my rectum tonight, I was thinking Goldie Hawn the whole time. You knew it was coming.
You're Rex.
That is part of the strategy.
Actor Goldie Hawn has said that she has had a close encounter with the extraterrestrial. Appearing on the latest episode of Apple Fitness Plus's Time to Walk, the 77-year-old stone fox discussed her fascination with aliens. Miss Hawn said the incident took place in the 1960s when she was about 20 and working as a dancer in Anaheim. It was a time when there had been a lot of UFO sightings and stories circulating around the world, the actor added. Now, what was it about the 60s, Rex? What was it about the 60s?
Well, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise. Well, you mean about this story in particular, or just the 60s in general, having all these supernatural and otherworldly encounters?
All of the above.
Yeah, all the above, absolutely.
And bear in mind, she was born in 1945, so she's got to be in her 20s at this point. Sounds about right.
That's what she said. She said she was about 20.
Any comments on, I guess, the psychic? What do you think? The psychedelics opened up a realm or something like that of that time period, Rex? I don't want to lead the witness here.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely, there are instances of that. We do have a lot of encounters in the 50s and 60s. In that kind of post-World War II world that came about. Unfortunately, this is more trick than treat. I was hoping that you guys would never find this out, because this is one of those things I've been holding back, because I'm like, sometimes when you peel back the curtain, you don't want to see what's behind the stage, And
you don't want to see the wizard. He's not always a handsome gentleman from Kansas. Sometimes he's like a fat dude.
Yeah, or some guy that wants to grope kids or something. Yeah, it's something you don't want to mess with. So.
It usually is the latter.
It's a kid groper.
So, and again, I can't 100% verify this, but I am 100% serious when I say that Goldie Hawn, what she had claimed to see was in fact humans taking part in a childish ruse. See, guys, the epidemic of reality television, unfortunately, still plagues our technologically advanced descendants. So what she saw was actually a reality show. Time travelers in the future, they were trying to prank her.
Wait. So you're telling me that all of these fucking crazy things that started happening in the 60s, right? Like Bigfoot's everywhere and the fucking extraterrestrial, it's all been punked, but from the future, that they're coming back in time to Ashton Kutcher punk Goldie Hawn and the rest of the world for reality TV.
Yeah, they're even more obnoxious in the future. Imagine TikTok, but on cocaine and acid all at one time.
I thought that was TikTok.
Yeah, it's horrible. So they think it's really funny to go after certain celebrities, especially when they're at that turning point in their career. Within the past 5 years, they've just been going after these rappers and Instagram folks. They are just having fun with it. We're going to see more and more cases of this, but. To your question, Adam, this doesn't happen every time. So not every time a celebrity says they see some sort of UAP or UFO or alien experience. It's not always that. I'm just saying, unfortunately, with Goldie Hawn's situation, it is that.
I mean, you seem to have some kind of insider information. I mean, how do you know this, Rex?
Unfortunately, I once got lost while I was astral projecting, and I ended up in some sort of 2445. It was just way into the future, and I thought, I was told the world was going to end before then, so I was surprised that we were still around, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of very impressive things, but I only got bits and pieces of it. I don't think I was meant to see all of this, but unfortunately, I did see what they do for entertainment, and they think it's really funny to just go back in time, dress up like an alien or a cryptid, and have these experiences with.
Are these like children playing pranks, or is this like television producers of the future? Is this like people online just time traveling to troll the past? I'm just curious, like, what the motivation is behind this.
Well, in the Western world, it's all about the going viral thing. I do think Adam will appreciate, though, that in Japan and in the Eastern world, it's like a game show thing for them. They're very classy about it. They think it's kind of funny, and there's like prizes and stuff if you can guess which celebrity they're going to punk and stuff like that. And, you know, so they're a lot more sophisticated. And I think, you know, there's a bit of like class to what they're doing over there in the future in like Japan.
Is this technology pretty much available to anyone? And I don't know, I know you've only seen glimpses of the future, but like, for example, we talk about things like the metaverse nowadays and where humans are going in regards to the metaverse, you know, get in your pod and like, you know, be an incel and don't go outside and live whatever fantasy world you want to live in. Is this kind of
metaverse
is that kind of part of where the metaverse went? Is it allows people to kind of dick around online in their whatever?
Yeah, you know, Bobby, you might be onto something. Now, this isn't something that I can confirm. I've only had, you know, just rare glimpses of the future, but it's possible that there are factions that are against this culture of, you know, doing pranks with people in the past. So it's possible that they're like trying to sabotage certain bloodlines, you know, getting them, hooked on video games and movies and just staying in their house the whole time. And becoming involuntarily celibate, possibly. I never thought of that. That could very well be what is going on, is that these people, there are certain factions that are like, we don't want this in our culture, so we're going to sabotage them.
So they sabotage it by touching Goldie Hawn's face.
On the face?
That makes sense. That makes sense, I guess.
I would rather we had like a future of pranksters than incels. If that's just me.
Adam, you want to keep reading the article, please?
Yeah. Let me get back to that. Let me pull up this article again here because I got lost there. So she said she got a job as a dancer in an area located near the desert in West California. After a tiring rehearsal, she asked a fellow dancer if she could sleep in her car, and that is the time it happened. I got this high-pitched sound in my ear. It was this high frequency. And I looked out the window and I saw these 2 or 3 triangular shaped heads.
This is just disrespectful to Goldie Hawn. Can you just do your regular voice?
You're better Goldie than me. I'm sorry, Kurt. Fuck.
No, you know, I was actually tricked. Adam, I thought that was her.
I thought I was watching Private Benjamin.
She described the aliens as silver in color, with a slash for a mouth, a tiny little nose, and no ears. Interesting. What else do you gentlemen know that's silver in color, with a slash for a mouth, a tiny little nose, and no ears?
Now, Rex, does this, based on that description, does that match a real extraterrestrial, not a merry prankster from the future? Does that description actually match? I guess I'm asking is, did they put a lot of authenticity and effort into this troll?
I think they're trying to buy into
the archetype of the alien in the 60s.
The 1960s. Yes, yeah. I mean, there are grays and there are, you know, aliens with, you know, slashes for their mouth, but I don't. The situation, I think, would have been a lot more grim if that were the case. And this seemed to be. There was something a bit intimidating about it, but then in the end harmless. You know, she was kind of paralyzed, and then. Yeah, it sounded really creepy at first. She was saying she's being paralyzed and that she couldn't really move or anything. And then the next minute she's saying, oh, it's like, you know, the hand of God touched me. And so I'm wondering if these time-traveling pranksters, if they gave her something, you know, injected her with something or some sort of aerosol. I don't know the drug, you know, how they distribute.
So you're saying what she described as the finger of God was like an aerosol designer drug of the future, pretty much.
That's interesting you say that too, because the behavior of a real gray seemingly is a lot more robotic and like like systematic. Like it doesn't have a personality where it would be like, let's just touch this lady's face and let her experience God. You know, it's the Greys don't generally act like that as far as
it was just ecstasy. It was a Grey on ecstasy.
It was a little ballyhoo. It was a little fun and fancy free. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's not something that's synonymous with the Greys.
Well, it's just, you know, if it was a divine experience, you know, which I don't think it is, but if it was, there would have been some sort of revelatory experience or
no, guys, what y'all just kind of made me think this whole thing is real, because what kind of divine godlike presence came into Goldie Hawn's life and has remained there after this incident, folks? It was like the hand of Kurt came down and touched her on the face.
Or at the very least, it was a gift of a higher entity granting her the presence of Kurt Russell in her life, intimate presence of Kurt Russell in her.
You know, I think you're onto something, Adam. Did you ever hear of that poem that Goldie Hawn wrote shortly after marrying? Well, actually, it wasn't shortly. It was several years. It's about footprints in the sand. She sees these footprints when Kurt Russell is married with her, you know, and then, you know, during her hardest times, she only sees one set of footprints, and she's like, why during my hardest times wasn't Kurt by my side? And so she finally confronts him. She's like, Kurt, during my hardest and toughest battles, I walked alone. Why weren't you with me? And he says, Goldie, I was carrying you the whole time.
She wrote that. Wow, that's deep. Fuck.
Wow. So wait a minute.
It all makes sense now.
Are we? Let's just play with it for a second. I'm not making any claims, gentlemen.
Sure.
Are we possibly suggesting that either A, Kurt Russell is a spiritual time traveler, B, Kurt Russell is the incarnation of all that is good and wonderful, and or C, Kurt Russell is some sort of Christ figure within Goldie Hawn's life, or D, Kurt Russell is Christ?
I'm going to go with D, but also I'm going to go with all of the above, because a famous Vigo the Carpathian once said, reality ain't what it used to be.
It's Vigo!
So what do you think, Rex? Where does Kurt level stand on the level of godhood?
That I don't know. I don't know if he's an angel or a messenger. I don't know where he is in that hierarchy, but, you know, I definitely do agree that he is definitely a great beacon of light.
He's at the very least a frequency above humanity.
I think, like, a lot of times I think about just, like, humanity in general. It makes me mad. And then I think about Kurt Russell, and I'm like, you know what? It's not all that bad.
It made it all worth it, didn't it?
It made it all worthwhile. I think he's a head and shoulders above the rest.
Well, I mean, you can go back to, let's, you know, compare experiences here where, you know, Kurt Russell had his own experience with potentially seeing a UFO, and
what?
There's a lot of humility towards his story. It doesn't seem like he was trying to garner anyone's attention. In fact, I don't think, was it him that even broke the story?
He was one of the first pilots to call it in. You're talking about the Phoenix Lights incident?
Yes, yeah. You could tell, again, I think this goes towards his character, that, you know, he's not a fame seeker. I mean, yeah, he is, you know, a movie star.
He hasn't needed to seek fame. Fame has always seeked him out.
Exactly. And all he did was tell the facts. He didn't say, like, I had a near God experience or things like that. So
I don't think he was in on it.
Goldie had a near Kurt experience in the 60s. And then Kurt Russell, you're telling me that Kurt Russell was frontline first responder on one of the most famous sightings of unidentified flying objects in human history? Kurt was there?
He was flying, I believe. Didn't he have I think he had his son, Wyatt, or one of their other children with him, I believe.
He was flying because he is an angel, and he was bringing forth his horde of angels.
Well, I would imagine an angel would inherently know how to pilot primal human craft coming down.
For sure, they're fucking angels, man.
He had to get a little taste of where he came from, so he embraced the pilot life, the hobbyist pilot, much like Harrison Ford. Deep State Rex, do you think that maybe Kurt Russell is some sort of summoned, I'm not even going to say tulpa, but almost is it possible he was summoned through the anti-Semitic magic of Walt Disney, and then kind of like went rogue and turned and became like Hellboy, where he's like he fights for good instead of evil. Is that a theory we've ever played with?
Possibly. I really actually haven't. That's something I should research. I should.
There's your next book. There's your next book.
Yeah. Wow. He's been close, to so many things. And we know that the Walt Disney Company's got to be hiding tons of secrets.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think he was summoned by the Disney Corporation through, the veil, through the spiritual realm, into this realm to be the ultimate child star, which he was. And then eventually his clout and his good looks and his wonderful personality that he inherited all from the spiritual realm freed him from the corporation. And now we see him where he is today, having worked with one John Carpenter, amongst Captain Ron, and who could forget Tango and Cash.
Can't forget that one. So basically you're saying that Kurt Russell is Hellboy.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's Hellboy.
Okay, cool.
He seems to be like the only child star that didn't get like corrupted along the way. If you look at it like any child star, they have some sort of weird, twisted, tragic backstory.
Oh yeah, look at the partridges.
Not only that, he seems like one of the most sane, stable, rational human beings in all of Hollywood, child star or not.
He was definitely prepared. He was definitely prepared for this time and this dimension. Everything like it's.
Let me put it. I think that Kurt Russell passes on the Eyes Wide Shut parties.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That ain't an easy thing in that industry,
especially to get as far as he did.
He can see without eyes.
Well, maybe they know that they don't want to invite him because he's a force of good, and they know that. They know don't invite forces of good to your Eyes Wide Shut parties.
Yeah, probably so. His purity would just burn it all asunder around them.
Yeah.
Just in his innate goodness. Yeah. I like it. I think that's probably what's going on.
Well, what happened to Goldie there? Are we done with Goldie? We went on a big tangent.
We were talking about Goldie Hawn, right? Hold on. There's a whole article I was reading. Okay, where was I? Which she said that how they look like, right? She said they would look like they were Silverhead. We did that. They were pointing at me, pointing me in the car as if they were discussing me, like I was a subject. And they were droning. I could not move. I was paralyzed. I didn't know if it was real or not real.
Well, let's put our skeptic hat on for a moment here. Obviously, I'm not doubting Rex's time travel theory, but it was the 1960s, the deserts of California. She's off work as a dancer. The psychedelics were aplenty. Plus, that's a very keen, high conduit area for high strangeness, I would say. I'm assuming it's like probably the Joshua Tree area or something like that.
It's known for that shit.
Is this a drug-induced hallucination, or is this a drug-induced hallucination that the real entities came through because the drugs allowed her to, right? Allowed them to, or is this just a real life classic, Travis Walton-esque alien abduction scenario?
No, it was punked from the future.
Okay,
we know that now. We know that now.
Think about that. You can't recall any of the things that they said. And, in a lot of those punk shows, they'll have narrations and voiceovers like, oh, look what we're going to do to this person right now. And I bet they kind of blurred that out of her vision. Because, if she remembered oh, hey, welcome to this show. We're going to punk or whatever they call it in that time, Goldie Hawn, before she's famous, she'll remember that. She'll tell everybody. And then, the secret's out. Hey, there's time travelers coming back and punking celebrities.
Yeah, so she even says that. They were pointing at her. They were pointing her like they were discussing her, like she was the subject. Yes, she was the subject of a punk.
Well, if we're combining our two theories here, we're saying that the time travelers from the future are actually also, yes, they're having their fun, but they're also like messengers of, implanting the presence of Kurt Russell into Goldie Hawn's life as well. So that was she won the prize, right? She won
for all we know, those might have been the great grandchildren of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn that have come back in time to not only
Like Marty McFly to make sure that they get together?
Yeah, but also to do that too. You know, like they touched her on the face with the love drug that had like the DNA of Kurt Russell, who was the Angel Man, already implanted into it, right? So like it's kind of like the whole life and times of the Kurt Russell Goldie Hawn family is a repeating cycle in history. It's like a time loop.
I mean, you just made me think of something. It's very possible that she couldn't have these experiences on her own, and so there had to be some sort of intervention to prepare her for, marrying
Kurt Russell,
one such Kurt Russell. Yeah.
So
wow.
So this was she said she spoke to an astrophysicist at the University of somewhere in Illinois who'd been researching alien encounters for 25 years. 25 years. She vividly recalled all the details of the encounter. Let me read you one last thing in Goldie Hawn voice. They touched my face, and it felt like the finger of God. It was the most benevolent, loving feeling. This was powerful. It was filled with light, as she spoke about her husband, Kurt Russell. See, it all lines up.
Yeah.
What does that sound like to you? You ever talk to somebody that's a big fanboy or fangirl of a celebrity that they're like, oh my gosh, they're the nicest person in the whole world. And it's like, well, do you really know them though?
Right.
You know? So
I don't know. Yeah. I shook Richard Dreyfuss's hand and I felt evil, but I liked it.
Richard Dreyfuss. Cool. Any final thoughts? I think we cracked the case, but any final thoughts or anything to talk about left in this segment on the Not For Everyone podcast Halloween episode?
I mean, if you're okay with I need to get something off my chest.
Oh, please.
Please do. That's what you're here for.
So, you know, when I was younger, I was really into those superhero movies. And there was a time between 2006 and 2008 where I was deep undercover and I couldn't access movies or television or anything, you know. And so I told my family, I was like, guys, make sure you save me a copy of X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 3 and Superman Returns. And, you know, I was so excited to watch those movies when I came home because, you know, I was a big superhero guy. And, you know, I look back on it and it haunts me, you know. I'm like, why? If I could just go back in time and tell them, don't buy those. You don't have to save them for me.
Yeah. What would you replace them with, do you think? Spider-Man 2?
Literally anything. I mean, literally anything would be better than those. But, yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2 would be a good start.
Yeah. I mean, your listeners are probably going to think a little less of me now, but that's what I need to get it out. So it's something that's been haunting me. So
yeah, that wasn't your best choice, Rex.
We're not all Kurt Russell. We can't change the past, you know. But if we could, you should definitely go back and love drug your family with the God finger and make sure they don't buy that. Just have them go buy all the Kurt Russell movies that came out in those years, because there had to be something.
Spider-Man 3 is Sam Raimi's way of reminding us that humanity is fallible.
Yeah. God bless him. Thanks, Sam.